everyone. I'm back for chapter 8 of The Case of the Kidnapped Candy. And as a reminder, good readers, when they get ready to read a new chapter, they kind of remind themselves what's already happened. So, as a reminder, at the end of chapter 7, Mila and Jigsaw had realized that as they were matching up the handwriting samples on the classroom poems, they had realized that the handwriting was very similar to one of the characters, Lucy Hiller. So we're going to start there. Keep in mind, those of you who are in my class, you will be tasked with answering 3 comprehension questions. Those of you who are joining us nationwide from around the country, you can feel free to answer these questions orally with your parents. Number 1, what was the special treat Mrs. Gleason had for the kids? Number 2, what did Mila and Jigsaw have to sing over and over? And number 3, when all the music and words came together, what did Jigsaw say it was called? This is called Chapter 8, Live in Concert. We were standing in the back corner of room 201, waiting for class to start. All I had to do was show Lucy the scrap paper with the chocolate smudge, and she knew I had proof. I did it, she admitted. At last, the mystery was solved, or so I thought. Where did you stash the candy? I asked. Lucy's face got red. Nowhere. There is no stash. I just took one piece. And you may be thinking to yourself, well, the case of the kidnapped candy is not really solved then, because that's only one piece that's missing. The entire batch of candy was missing. Well, if you only took one piece, why did you lie about it? I asked. She looked down. And you know, often when you look down, maybe you do that because you're shy or you realized you've been caught doing something bad. Because I knew what you'd think, but I swear I didn't steal the candy. I didn't even look under the sheet. I just stuck my hand in and twisted the lever. The candy popped right out. I didn't say anything. Part of me wanted to believe her, but the other part of me liked it better when I had solved the case. Lucy nibbled her lip. It looked like she wanted to say something else, but she didn't. We were both silent for a long time. If you don't believe me, ask Joey, she said suddenly. He was there too. It was his idea. So now we just realize that not only has Lucy been involved in stealing the candy, but now she just admitted that another character also was there, and it was his idea. So Joey had lied too? I couldn't wait to find out why. But before I could do that, it was time for schoolwork. This morning, we have a special treat, Miss Gleason announced to the class. Athena Lorenzo's father is here, and he is going to give us a poetry concert. None of us knew what that meant. I know what a concert is because I've gone to the CMA Music Festival last year, a musical concert with lots of singers and bands and things of that sort. I know what poetry is. So if I think real hard, a poetry concert is maybe someone's going to be reading poetry, but instead of just reading it like we normally do, maybe they'll be singing along. I don't know, but that's what good readers do. They infer. Mr. Lorenzo walked into the classroom. He was carrying a guitar. That seemed kind of weird. Then things got even weirder. He started to sing. He played 3 songs and he was really good. But when he stopped, I was still confused. I raised my hand. Where's the poetry, Miss Gleason? Miss Gleason and Mr. Lorenzo both laughed. I waited for them to let me in on the joke. songs are poetry, Miss Gleason explained. Poetry that is set to music. We call that kind of poetry lyrics. And many of you know the lyrics from the Frozen song. So you might say, I do know some poetry. But when it's set to song, they're called lyrics. Kim Lewis raised her hand. But songs aren't just words. What about the music? Isn't that the important part? Mr. Lorenzo put down his guitar and walked over to the board, and he wrote on the board these words: lyrics, melody. You're right, he said. Both of those matter a lot when you're making music. What else is important? We called out lots of words: rhythm, rhyme, voice, instruments. And those of you older than kindergarten students, you may be familiar with these words already because you go to music class. The kids, however, in my class, they only had PE this year. So maybe these words are new to you. You'll learn them with Mr. Henson next year, though. Mr. Lorenzo wrote everything on the board. They're all important, he said. They all work together to make a good song. Just like the parts of a poem, Ralphie exclaimed. Exactly, Miss Gleason agreed. Every piece works together to create the song. Like a jigsaw puzzle, I said. Then Mr. Lorenzo had an idea. He asked Miss Gleason for one of our poems, and she gave him Athena's. I always love a rainy day, a cloudy sky, the world all gray. Splishing, splashing, puddles for play. That's why I love a rainy day. He stared at it for a few minutes. He bounced his head back and forth like he was listening to a beat the rest of us couldn't hear. Then he started pointing to people and giving us jobs. Biggs Maloney had to tap slow, steady beats on his desk, like this: bang, bang, bang. Nicole Rodriguez had to clap her hands in a funny rhythm, like this: clap, 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 clap. Ethan Nair and Kim Lewis had to hum a long note, one high and one low. Together they sounded like mm. Joey had to rub two erasers together. Scritch, scritch, scratch. Scritch, scritch, scratch. Mila and I got a melody to sing over and over. Dee dee da dee 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 da dee. It was a lot of noise and not much else. And here they are working together on the different parts that they had to play. I'll show you the picture and then I'll read on. Then Mr. Lorenzo started to play a slow, simple melody on his guitar. He pointed out Biggs and Nicole and he pointed at Biggs and Nicole and they started to bang and clap. Then Geetha and Kim joined in with their humming, and Joey rubbed his erasers. Mila and I started dee dee da deeing. Mr. Lorenzo sang the words to Athena's poem in a clear, loud voice. And suddenly, we weren't a bunch of kids making noises anymore. We were an orchestra. I'm going to say that word again because, as a reminder, especially the kids in my class, you know that on any given day, you should learn between 17 and 20 new words a day. Today, I just did a Zoom session. I read the story, The Principal from the Black Lagoon, and we were introduced to 5 new vocabulary words today. I know one was snatch, paperweight, spikes, all kinds of cool words. So every day you're learning. Well, that does conclude the chapter. And as a reminder, when all the noises came together, they made an orchestra. It's kind of a hard word to spell. So if you do need to spell it, you probably need your parents to write it out for you. As a reminder, you are answering these three questions. What was the special that Mrs. Gleason had for the special treat that Mrs. Gleason had for the kids? Number two, what did Mila and Jigsaw have to sing over and over? And when all the music and the noises and the words came together, what did Jigsaw say it was called? Well, I hope you enjoyed chapter 8, which was called Live in Concert. Now, the word live is spelled Live. Depending upon how it's used in a sentence, that could also be the word live. I live in the state of Florida. You wouldn't say I live in the state of Florida. That would be funny. Chapter 9 is called Irresistible. And the prefix ir, irresistible, means like you're not able, like you can't, like something is irresistible, you can't resist it. For me, if I have chocolate in the house, that's sometimes irresistible for me. I just know it's there and I can't wait to get my hands on it. Well, today, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed this reading. I hope you're doing wonderful. Today is I didn't update it yet. Today is day 159 and we only have 21 days left of school. You can do this. You are doing wonderfully. Keep in mind that if you have any questions for me, you can just message me in Edsby. If you do need to hold some individual Zoom sessions, if you need extra help in math, reading, writing, whatever it is, I am here and ready for you. I hope you have a wonderful day. Give me a big hug. I love you, and we will see you next time. Take care of yourself. Until next time. Adios, which means goodbye.